Sound check. Sound check. Okay, once again, sound check. Okay, once again, sound check. Excuse me. Seems good to me, so I'll begin. Welcome to my apologies every time. Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and more. My name is Nancy. Today I'm here to share my birth chart interpretation for, as you can see, Vladimir, Vladimirovich Putin, for Putin. At this time, I offer you the information that you need. If you're interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. Please like my content. Please share my channel with others. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Hello all. Okay, I'm going to try to make this video short. This is merely my interpretation of Putin's birth chart. Putin, if you don't know, is the president of Russia. The reason why I'm focusing on Putin and his birth chart to see what's in it is because of he's a prominent figure on our world stage. Most of us know that there is a war pending, and so I thought we'd take a look at his birth chart. I must say I found out some very interesting information that has me in an uproar. I'm going to try not to go into a full-blown Aquarius rant and uproar during this live stream. I just want to stay focused again on his birth chart. But I ask you, if you tune into this particular video, to watch the next two that are coming. One will be an Aquarius rant, and the other I'm not quite sure. Oh, the other will be, I don't want to give it away. It'll be another. At least two more associated with this video. This video offers, the contents of this video offers basic information that is offered in Putin's birth chart. Okay. As you can see on the screen next to me is a sample of Putin's birth chart. I received this sample from astraltheme.com. I don't know how correct it is, but I'm dependent on it. And the information I got from it seems like it definitely goes with him. And I'll explain that statement in the next two videos. Okay, I'm going to try to move forward very quickly. Hopefully I can do this video in less than 1 hour. Okay, we're going to start here where you see my magnifying glass. I use the magnifying glass so we can, move together through the reading. So, I have my notes here. It's a simple 7-page summary of his birth chart. And so, let me give you the background of Vladimirovich Putin. He was born October 7th, 1952. He's currently 69 years old, as recorded by astraltheme.com. He was born in St. Petersburg, Russia, which was the former Soviet Union. Okay. Now, the space, oh, am I in the right place? Yeah. This space here, hopefully you can see the magnifying glass move. I'm about to deal with that space right there, and I'm going to tell you what it talks about. I'm trying to do it quickly. I don't know if I can. I tend to get long-winded wanting to explain every single detail. Ride the wave with me, please. Anyway, that position right there, that space, talks about his predestined path, the various circumstances and situations that are anticipated to occur in his life. Whose life? Putin's life. Anywho, it's at the 3rd degree. It's kind of cropped off here, but just go with me if you will. And the 3rd degree talks about him having to move. He was predestined his path to move to secure physical, worldly wants, needs, urges, and desires. Basically, he was born to secure wealth and prosperity and to be able to indulge. Okay. And moving forward, let's see. I'm going to read my notes. It says as predestined, as long as I hate when I write my notes in the middle of the night. I have to say I've been up since about 11:30, 12 o'clock last night, and it's now what 8:49 in the morning. So my notes usually don't be too clear because I be, I guess, half asleep. But let's see. It says as long as worldly security is secured, he is domiciled, seemingly domiciled. But if provoked, he becomes reactive. He is prone to stubbornness and aggressive fury. So this shrank my magnifying glass. This area talks about how Putin was predestined to travel a particular path. That path consists of primarily him moving throughout his life to secure and to sustain physical, worldly security and stability. That is to say, wealth, riches, and prosperity and power and those kind of things. And it says, as long as his security is secured, then he's seemingly docile, like a bull grazing in a pasture. But if his security is threatened and he feels provoked, then he is prone to stubbornness and aggressive fury. Moving around a bit more, let's see. It says, my notes say, even more, he is moved or motivated by the depth of his psyche, emotions, and soul. I usually sum it up as the id in the physical sense. And so I want to try to explain that whole concept about how Putin is motivated by his inner emotional state, his psyche, his soul, his id. When I'm talking about that, I got to get a specific term to apply, or to represent that. But I'm talking about something that's so deep. I'm not talking about something that's surface level. It is ingrained within a person's essence or being. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about his need to fulfill or to satisfy possessing physical, worldly security, stability, power, money, wealth. It's in his essence. And so that's pretty hard to remove. I'll say that. I'll eventually come back to that because I noticed that in my astrological interpretations that it is the need to define that aspect of a human being in order to get a clear understanding what astrological energies are reporting to us. Anyway, so we know that it's something that's ingrained in him. It is a part of his essence. And so my notes go on, and I write in my notes saying, relative to his sense of self-worth, value, and extent of personal power. I know that doesn't pretty much make sense, but it's said to be nearly 8 billion people in the world. And all of us have this aspect that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the essence down to your soul, relative to physical, worldly security and stability. Not only that, it is about your sense of self-worth and value, and depending on how important you feel, how valuable you feel on the essence level, determines your personal power, just how hard you will push in the physical world to accomplish your interests, your aims, your desires, period. And it says, he is compelled by his sense of importance over others out of the world. So in short, what I'm saying in these little raggedy notes, I'm saying he was born with an ingrained sense of entitlement. A sense of entitlement. Who was born with an ingrained sense of entitlement? I am talking about Putin. This is his birth chart interpretation. I know I'm moving slow. So far, what have I shared with you here? I've shared that he has a predestined path, and that path, uh, it, it is truly governed by the need to move to secure physical, worldly security and stability. As long as he has it, he is seemingly docile, he's cool. But if that security is threatened in any way, then he is provoked, like becoming a bull in heat. And he is prone to what? Stubbornness and aggressiveness. Mind you, this essence that he has, or this state that is a part of his essence, is deeply ingrained in him. And the sum of it is a sense of entitlement. Let's see. I know they're not about to throw me off. I'm sorry, y'all. This computer is doing something that it wants to do, so I'm letting it, hoping that it... What the heck? Let's me continue. Okay. I want to try to continue now. And I'm moving around to this section of of Putin's birth chart, and I'm going to read what my notes say about this particular section. Remember, these are just kind of scribbling notes, rough draft notes, and so I'll read what I actually have on the paper, even though it may not make sense. Then I'll try to clarify it. That's how I'll proceed from here. Anyway, this particular section, which you see what's this thing called, magnifying glass on, it says that he has, in support of his predestined entitlement of indulgence over the indulgence, a life journey and corresponding consciousness and awareness, unique from most others in the world. To sum that up, what does what I just read mean, as well as this space on his birth chart, within his birth chart? Well, it's talking about being born an elitist, being born like an aristocrat, being born into, or being born within a bloodline that allots you entitlement. It allots you entitlement and so much more. And that so much more is that because Putin was born to the family that he was born to, he had a very particular or unique lifestyle laid before him. Why? Because he was born into wealth, obviously. And I don't know anything about Putin's life except for what I've picked up from this birth chart. Not only is it just a very particular life, unique life path, because he was born into a particular bloodline, but because of his exposure, rather to the people, the other aristocrats or elites, his exposure to them, his exposure to studies and world travels, it has offered him a very unique worldview or perspective, or he has come into certain beliefs, very particular, special beliefs, just because of being born in that bloodline. And therefore awareness. In short, as I mentioned, this space on his birth chart, or in his birth chart, just refers to him being born as an elite in all that it consists of. Okay, I'm going to move from this space to this space. This space in which the magnifying glass is covering talks about his career, ambition, social standing, social status, or bio is aligned with his intimate circle, familiar spirits. He shares in the network's fundamental thoughts and behaviors, all that are specific to that specific network out of society. So I'm going to try to clarify. Remember, these are rough drafts. I'm going to use that word. I got to keep that word. Rough drafts. My notes are rough draft notes. I'll forget. I try to come up with terms that I can always use so when I say them, you understand what I'm saying. So, what was I saying here? Talking about Putin, and I'm talking about the space on this birth chart, or within this birth chart. And it talks about everything that he is, his biography, um, everything that he accomplishes, every school he attends, all these things are aligned with, or is because of, or um, relative to, or as a direct result of being born in the bloodline. It takes people to know people. It takes you to know people to get somewhere. So he was born into a network circle, a small, intimate network circle, whether it consisted of his, I don't know, siblings, his aunts, uncles, cousins, people that frequent their community. Yes, even the wealthy have communities too. They're very intimate circles. And so it's saying that the career that he's in, right now we know he's president, but any other social role that he's played thus far in his life is a direct result of being a part of that circle, that very unique circle. And his thoughts and his behaviors are a direct result of that as well. What can I say in short? Putin, like all of us, is a product of his environment. It's just that his environment is unique from ours. His environment is that of the wealthy. So, trying to sum that's the same space up that you see the magnifying glass, he is elite, like aristocratic, socialite, even politician. You know, that is all a result of his environment. Okay, trying to move forward quickly. The next space I'm going to cover is here, specifically here, where you see the magnifying glass. And this space is about the social circle which he belongs, has maintained its status for generations because the members are a soul group. Soul group is a trending term. They are a soul tribe or a soul group. So they have come into this existence and reality for a specific reason, and they all know the same thing. Anyway, I go and read my notes. Within the network, that small, intimate social circle, or that soul tribe, or soul group, they are like-minded members with similar behaviors. They share many secrets, and it's a lot of sexual liaisons between them, and so on and so on. All of that scorpion energy. The membership to this group or club or soul group is usually, I would say 99%, just throwing a percentage out there, a life to death membership. You're born in it, and the only way you really get out of it is to die out of it. Die out of this realm. And so it's a social group of elitists. That's what that space is, a social group of elitists. I'm telling you what all the spaces mean, and then I'm going to give you a whole summary of what his birth chart seems to be saying. Because I'm trying to find out who is Putin. I also want to know what he's capable of doing, especially during this time period in history of humanity. Okay. The next space is... I'm covering from this space that I just read. This whole space here is what I'm covering. Yes. So let me tell you what that particular space embodies. It says that Putin has an inherited state of consciousness and awareness as the direct result of his social lineage and position. I'll try to clarify what I mean. That space that the magnifying glass is over informs us that Putin has inherited, and I said it a little earlier, he's just because he was born into a particular bloodline and he is around a very unique, intimate social circle or around a particular soul tribe, that he has inherited the consciousness and awareness as a direct result of it. Meaning the stuff that they know, the secrets that they know, when I say they, I'm talking about Putin and his intimate small social circle. Uh, those secrets, other people don't know. The mundane people don't know. Maybe even other aristocrats or powers from other lands don't even know. Again, they're like their own secret club. Okay. The next thing I want to cover here is this space here. I kind of want to zoom in on it. I do believe that this is saying that Putin is in his place or position, or was born in a bloodline, and that powerful influence, that aristocratic influence, is most likely coming from his mother's side of the family. Okay. At this time, I want to cover this space here that you see the magnifying glass floating over. And so I'm going to read my notes. It says consciousness, awareness, reality associated with a specific and unique social role. I'll try to explain that before I read any more of my notes, because I see they're really getting a little confusing. I'm just going back because the astrological energies have warranted me to go back and reiterate that what Putin is aware of, what he knows, his philosophies, his beliefs, his all those kind of things, morals, values, those kind of things, sense of entitlement, everything is based specifically on his social connections as well as his social role. It goes back and talks about it again. And it also talks about the world that Putin lives in. When I say world, I'm talking about his intimate reality, the places he goes, the people he engages, the things he sees, the foods he eats. His reality is also a direct result of what? His lineage, his worldly, we can say, associations, as well as what? His matriarchal line, or the lineage, family lineage. Family lineage is better. Okay. So it says he is a major party. This is when I think it starts getting interesting. Putin is a major party that holds an interest in a shared venture. Therefore, have deems he must and therefore have demands he must meet. These notes are mine. I'm so guilty of terrible notes. Anyway, I'll read that again. He who, Putin, is a major party in relationship to what? His intimate social circle, the familiar spirits that he frequents. He is a major, meaning he's a boss player, even within his intimate group. And he holds the same interest, or has the same interest as the other members or the other parties of what? His small, intimate social circle. They have a shared interest. They have a venture that they're on. And therefore, because he's such a prominent player or figure or member in his soul tribe, he has contributions he has to contribute, or demands that he specifically are required to meet. Let me try to say that a different way. That I don't know how many members are part of his intimate small social circle, that soul tribe. But every member has their role to play, and they have their duties they must tend to, you know. They all must contribute. Well, Putin is one of the most important members in his network, and he has um, uh, very specific demands that he is required to meet, you know, or tend to. Okay. I don't want to say that now. Let's see what I can do. I want to stop. I just moved over just a little bit. And I want to stop. Well, I'm going to cover these two areas. I'm going to cover these two areas together. I'm still sharing my interpretation of Putin's chart. Right now, I'm telling you what every space means. Then I'm going to give you a whole summary. Okay. Now, these two spaces, the fifth space and the sixth space, I'm about to interpret. And loosely, it just says that Putin is a leader. And he has the ability to use all the tactics such as negotiation and persuasion, even war, in order to fulfill his agenda. How do I start? The next space, the sixth space, talk about the daily duties that he has. Remember, I was saying I'm going to try to start explaining things here. Please use your imagination, if you will, from this moment forward. Putin is born into a bloodline that allots him privileges. And those privileges are awareness, knowledge, and a consciousness, meaning awareness about certain things maybe other people don't know, especially the common Jane or Joe. Putin has this ingrained sense of entitlement. It just has come with whom he is. And he is a product of his environment. He's rich, and the people around him is rich. What I'm going to say, it's not just about being rich. It's the personality or the attitude that is, associated with being very wealthy. I call it, it could be like a spirit of prosperity, a spirit of the elitist. It is usually very narcissistic and self-serving and things like that. And so Putin has all of that. And so remember, Putin is one of, I'll say, a few others, because I don't know how many are part of what the soul group. So out of this soul group, everybody has something to do. They're over and responsible, over something, responsible for something. Putin in particular is over leadership. In his birth chart, it says, Putin, you're going to be a leader. And what we want you, we who, those others in the soul tribe, what we are assigning you to, the position and responsibilities that Putin has been assigned to, is to secure the bag. Secure the bag. To secure physical, worldly wants, needs, urges, and desires for himself, those that he's partied with, and those upon his care. That's what he was assigned to do. And so, as long as these people, including Putin's physical, worldly security and stability, worldly wealth is sustained, and they are happy, then they seemingly are docile. See, it's like Putin is the spokesperson for these others, or the representative for these others, or the president for these others. And when I say president, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about president for the people that occupy that territory. I'm talking about he's actually just the president. He's using that position in order to ensure the physical, worldly security of just his soul tribe. I ain't talking about the people over there in that part of the world. Okay, so, and he will do so. Let me read my notes. Well, his daily duty, everything and what he's been assigned to is to make sure that he secures the bad, secure their physical, worldly comfort and security, power, and things like that. Now I'm going to move over here before I dive off and start really telling the story, trying to summarize. I once again move the magnifying glass, the position in which it hovers over. It's talking about contract terms, and there are various terms and conditions that are on the table between Putin and the other members of his soul tribe, his intimate soul tribe. Remember, Putin is over making sure that he secures the bag for them all. That's one of the terms on the table. Putin, you secure the bag. You make sure to obtain, maintain, and build our sense of physical worldly security and stability in this world. Okay? That's Putin's role. It says, and to the fullest potential of the members' soul desires. The astrological energies here show that Putin and all the members of his intimate soul tribe really deal from their lower chakra. Their lower chakra. They're very materialistic. They're telling Putin secure the bag. It's like, what do they say? They always want him to level them up. It's not just about securing the bag, it's level them up. They want the maximum benefits that they know they can acquire or they feel like they're eligible for in this world. So, trying to make it make sense. I'm going to move the magnifying glass again and attempt to continue interpreting the astrological alignments that you see here in Putin's birth chart. And here it talks about discussions, social encounters. It's about to go down. About one's state and level of security based on the emotional state, experience, constantly. I'm going to read my notes. And again, I know that they don't make a lot of sense. My notes are merely a rough draft. And I read them to spark my memory. And then I move to try to make them make sense for you or to summarize them for you. So here I have where the magnifying glass is that, once again, I ask you to use your imagination. Imagine a board of directors. Board of directors. Who am I talking about when I say imagine a board of directors? I'm talking about Putin and his intimate soul tribe. Why do I want you to imagine a board of directors? This is why. Because when we have this image of a board of directors coming to a meeting, they usually come into an intimate, closed off office spaces, closed off from everybody. And only prominent members come sit at the table. Sometimes it's a round table or oval table, but they're all at the table. Imagine Putin at the head of the table. He has the responsibility of securing the bag for himself and everybody around that table. Okay? So, we're talking about Putin and all the other intimate members of his soul tribe sitting around at the table. They are the board of directors. These people come together, and I'm sure it started before Putin. He's just continuing a tradition. These people come together and they talk about their concerns, about how they're going to do what? Secure their bag. The most profitable bag they can secure. And which ways and in which time periods and just different things like that. And also to do what I guess what they call it, take an account of what they have acquired to see if they have enough of what they want. Remember, they all share in a sense of entitlement. It is a part of their essence. It is ingrained in them. It's things that they know that don't nobody else know. It's things that they're exposed to that nobody else is exposed to, don't even know exist. And so they believe that they're entitled to a certain quality of life. And it's the highest quality or standard, highest quality of life is what I can say. To kind of sum it up and make it make sense. And so when they have these soul tribe meetings, when they take an account of their valuables, if they're not happy, if they're not satisfied, remember, they become provoked. But as long as they got what they need, they are seemingly docile. They off living their best lives. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Putin and his intimate soul tribe. They off living their best lives. But when they come to that board table, and when they take an account of their valuables, if they find something is missing, lacking, short, or threatened, then they all feel provoked. And what they do is they turn to Putin and say, okay, what you gonna do? Because we have assigned you this seat of power, because it can only be one head. It can be only one king in authority that goes up against another king, space, region, whatever. So what you gonna do? That's what we're seeing playing out on our world stage today. Putin is responding to a deficiency in their what they deem that they need to feel secure in this world. That's what's happening. Okay, let me try to say. Let me see what it says here before I go on. Okay. At this time, I'm going to start adding a lot of different examples of what the astrological energies seem to be saying. And it's so that you can get a grasp on what is actually occurring. So you can get a grasp on who Putin is, the people that depend on him, and what they're actually after, and what they're also capable of doing. At least that's my intent. And so at this time, I need to go back and talk about how I refer to Putin and his most intimate tribe, soul tribe, as a board of directors. As I moved on reading the astrological message, interpreting them in my private time, I advanced that description of Putin and his tribe. And I started seeing them as a family of gangsters. That's what I started seeing. I saw, what was it? And write it here. I'm trying to think of this show I watched. Yes. My life is interesting, but I'm going to try to refrain from starting to rant because I want to. But right now, I'm just going to try to offer you some vital information. This information, as mentioned, is vital. I say it without going into it. So it's important for you to remember once I stated. I was just saying that when I first interpreted the astrological alignments or astrological alignment within Putin's birth chart, I realized that he was one of a soul tribe. And then I moved and said this Putin and his soul tribe sit around this oval table like a board of directors. But as I advance in interpreting his birth chart, it suggests more of a gangster's family. And so I want to offer you an example of what I mean as a gangster's family. I can think of a few different programs that have been created and, you know, given to the public for entertainment, to set this example, show this example, to make as an example. But I'm going to use one I just happened to see. I think it was last week or the week before. I don't remember what movie platform I was on, but the name of the program was called Dope, DOPE, Sick. Dope Sick. If you haven't seen Dope Sick, it's a series. I'm going to share a little tidbit relative to that movie or series. Dope Sick is about the explosion of abuse and deaths of people of all ages in specific regions as the direct result of prescription drugs. I think I said that right. The prescription drug in the series Dope Sick surrounded Oxycontin. Oxycontin, to the general populace, looks like it was just created and distributed by the pharmacy or the pharmaceutical field. But Lord and behold, that series reveals that there is a family, the board of directors, the Soul Tribe, behind even the pharmacy, the pharmaceutical company. You know, I don't even remember what pharmaceutical company it was. They're behind it. That family, this particular family, created different sub companies. I forgot how it's done. You know, they hide themselves behind these companies. This family hid themselves behind this company. Very, very rich family. And that Oxycontin product, that painkiller, narcotic, made that family billionaires while destroying hundreds of thousands of lives in the United States. And it is that family in that series that didn't care what they did to the masses, long as they got rich. Back to Putin and his Soul Tribe. They are so reminiscent of each other. I'm saying that Putin and his Soul Tribe is just like, or quite similar to, I say, that family in that series, Dope Sick. Putin and his tribe is after building and securing their own wealth. And it's by whatever means they deem, or Putin basically deems fit. In the series that I shared, Dope Sick, that family was only after securing their own physical worldly security and stability. And what they, by one, well, I can't say it was by one means. The program just focused on one means, and that was through providing the country pain relief medicine, pain opioids, with a primary focus on Oxycontin. And people were dying left and right in the series. Okay, so what was I doing with all of that? I was just spewing out. What I was doing was taking you through the stages of development that go on in my mind as I interpret the stars. So now we have not only Putin, we have his soul tribe, and they all work together for a common cause. And that common cause is to secure physical, worldly, sustains physical, worldly security and stability. And they have assigned Putin the head seat at the table to help be the face for their network, so to say. And he's under the title president of what? Russia. So I'm trying to make it make sense. And I've talked about how he's talk about dope sick. Okay. I'm going to move on, but understand what I've just explained about how their club is, or membership or soul tribe is set up, and how they do come together. And that's even in that series. They literally, the family in that series would come together, sit at the round or oval table, have dinner, and talk about how they was going to take over the world, basically. And it was throughout Skype. That's the same thing Putin does with his soul tribe. Okay? Okay. I'm going to move forward. And the reason why I'm hesitating before moving forward is because as I move forward, the way I just explained that, I may very well be explaining other concepts the exact same way. I may use a different example. Even though I may use a different example, it's the contents of the example I need you to digest, to register, and to hang on to. So I move forward. Anywho, now I'm moving forward to talk about okay. Right now, I'm moving over into this area here. I think I've mentioned the meaning of this area prematurely, but I'm going to go ahead and read my notes and summarize them at this time, even if I'm repeating. So, here it says, my notes say that which they, talking about the soul group, or he, Putin, are sensitive about. Now, what did we talk about they're sensitive about? They're sensitive about if their worldly security and stability is being threatened, tampered with, if they ain't got what they need. So those sensitivities. It says that which they, he, are sensitive about. There is a specific line. It's a thin line. There's a thin line between comfort and discomfort. Once that line is approached, or they or suddenly they, the soul group, or he, Putin, is provoked. Let me try. I know these are my notes. We know about it. What am I saying? I'm saying Putin and his soul group, it shows in his birth chart that they have a predetermined anticipation for security, worldly wealth, and stability. And as long as no one approaches that line of threat, they're seemingly, docile, living their best life. But if any entity at all approaches that line, they immediately become threatened. They are threatened that someone has to, or they are like, someone has the audacity to approach this line, knowing very well that to approach this line triggers us. We become threatened and then reactive or responsive. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. It says, okay. By time the provocation occurs, the reaction has been stirred up. So by the time somebody threatens their security, they've already been provoked. They're already stirred up. And they respond. Their response comes from that space, place within themselves, their essence. Remember, they're a soul tribe, so they have like just about the same soul, and the core of their soul, the essence of their soul, has the same attribute, and it's from that space in which that attribute um exists, namely entitlement. uh Once it is jarred, provoked, and stirred up, it immediately comes up. It's like a natural response, a reflex form. And that's what we're seeing playing out even now. And remember, they all come, all of them. How many ever members there are in Putin's soul group? They are coming from their lower nature or their root chakra. And when dealing with the root chakra, I think most of us know the root chakra is red. It is about materialism. It is about striving in this world. It's about what is it? Self-survival was first and foremost, survival of the fittest. It is about violence, aggressive protection, survival. That's where they come from. You know, that's the that part of the essence that, boils up in them when their physical worldly security is threatened. Immediately they go in, into that state and everything that they do. Okay. The next thing, we're going to move over here, following the magnifying glass where you see the MC on the screen. And now I'm going to interpret this area. And soon and very soon I'll be summing up what I have shared here about what I found in Putin's chart to kind of give you a whole scenario relative to Putin and his life. I remind you at this time, there are going to be at least 2 more videos, if life permits, associated with me reading this birth chart. Because, Lord and behold, I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to refrain from it. I had a string of synchronicities happen that have led me to uncover more clues to about what's happening in this world. So I ask you to stay tuned. Ooh. Now the space. It says, I have come. Who has come? Putin has come to be a leader and to secure the bag by any means. It says here in my notes, seek after what one's life has revealed to them, that which one is conscious and aware of. Putin has come into existence to secure the entitled bag. I'll try to clarify those notes. What am I saying in my notes? It's in my rough draft of notes. My notes that are rough drafts. It's saying that it was this, it's like, again, being born into, excuse me, elitist bloodline. If your ancestors have money, wealth, and property, and freedom, and all of the technology that exists at any given time, then most likely, if you were born to, into the family, you're also going to have it. And so it's talking about that knowing that you're going to have it. I'm going to say this here because I picked this up, I do believe, and I made a statement about it back over here in 4th house Pisces, is that it seems like what Putin has acquired in his life comes from his the matriarchal line, or the female, or the mother. And even here, it seems like it's saying it too, because it says that he, how does it go? What life has revealed and, given over to him. So let me try to explain. It's this old saying when it comes to family extending or having children. And the old saying goes something like this: it is definitely mama's baby. You can't deny it when the woman brings the baby home. It is your baby. It's the woman's baby. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Daddy's maybe. Meaning, a man can come home with a child, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's his child because he's not carrying it, he's not bearing it, he brings a woman into the family with the child. So it's mama's baby, definitely. Daddy's maybe. And so here in Putin chart, it seems like it's mama's baby. It's undeniable. And because Putin is a validated offspring, he is entitled to all the riches and wealth associated with his family, all of their achievements, etc., etc. And another part of that inheritance is to have a seat at the round table with the rest of the family, or the soul tribe. And so he has that seat. And because a person like Putin was born into, that social, soul tribe, he has exposure to, he has a very unique perspective in his life. And that perspective is closely aligned with those in the soul tribe. Most of them are exposed to the same thing. They may go to the same schools or be taught by the same, private teachers or whatever. Whatever way they're talking about religion or spirituality, it comes through the same way, those kind of things. What they know about this realm or outside of this realm, it is the same, And so it just goes on and it talks about that and points that out again. And it's and with all of that, his role in all of that, in that social network, is what? To come secure the entitled bag. So we're talking about on a world stage. He is here to secure the entitled bag for him and his soul tribe. Okay. Moving over just a little bit. We're almost through. Again, I didn't want to hold you too long. I'm trying to move as quickly as I can. This space that the magnifying glass is hovering over refers to that which will be written in one's bio. Talking about what's going to end up transpiring in his life over the course of his life. What will he achieve? What will he be seen for? What works would he do? What kind of career or ambitions, etc., etc. So again, I read, it says that which will be written in one's bio. Their social role is, and this person we're talking about right now is Putin. So he's a leader who imposes his will into the world by any means necessary. I must clarify, by any means necessary, because this space also talks about Putin as a unique spirit, avatar animated by a very unique spirit, and his whole makeup, every part of his essence, his soul, everything, has formed into a specific type of consciousness. And so Putin, will say, as a human being, has the things that he will do or that he won't do, boundaries that he'll cross or he will not cross because of that formulation. That's solely unique to him as a human being. At this time, use your imagination. Keep in mind what is currently taking place on our world stage relative to Putin and Ukraine. So the question arises, will he do the unthinkable? Will the unthinkable occur as a direct result of Putin understanding that his sense of security has been threatened? And he is over maintaining, securing, and growing wealth or the bag for him and the soul tribe. They feel threatened now. The question is, how far will he go? How far will he go? Well, his astrological energy said he will go as far or as to the extent of that formulation, that consciousness. That is to say, can he stomach, what they call it, what type of warfare can he stomach? What kind of warfare can Putin stomach? It's not about the other members of the soul tribe. See, this is his role right here. His role solely alone, he was assigned to it. What can you stomach, Putin? How far will you push? What will you do? You know? And so the astrological energies say, message within the energies, from the energy says that he has an extent in which he's willing to go to back any threats up and to secure the bag. Now, the reason why I'm kind of stumbling at this point in time, because remember, I want to come back later at some later time and do 2 more videos, because it gets really, really deep, these other clues to what is really occurring in this world. And so I think I may have time after I finish this interpretation to come right back and go into an Aquarius rant in which I can spill all the tea, the milk, and whatever else. But understand there is there's an extent. And so I'm just going to read my notes because I'm getting all over the place. Is the extent he will go to secure the bag is as follows. Oh, I guess I could share this part. Okay. I'm going to go into what I don't want to go into. I'm going to try to keep it short. Let's see what else it says. He has the ability. Putin is, I might can do it like this. Let's talk about the essence within Putin. And not only the essence that dwells within Putin, it is the essence that also dwells within his other soul tribe members. Those other people at the round table with him. You know, that board of directors. And remember, that essence within them comes up from the root chakra, from the space of survival and materialism. These people feel threatened. So that demon that dwells within them is provoked, is up, and is active. And Putin is the one that is the leader of this tribe. How can I say this? So what am I trying to talk about? I'm talking about what Putin is capable of doing now that they're provoked. It says in astrological energies that he will destroy. Oh no, I was going to say. That root chakra is not well developed. Let me finish talking about the root chakra. Where they come, the essence come from when they provoke. It is, this root chakra is not well developed. It is a hissy-fitting crybaby full of rage and things like that. And it will do crybaby stuff. You know, it's like throw the rock in, hide behind the tree, slap on the face, a slap on the wrist, a lie, a seduction, persuade. It will do whatever to try to get what it wants. It's like a temper tantrum. So, what is Putin capable of doing? Putin is capable of a temper tantrum. And we're talking about a person with power. So now we begin to ask, what does he have access to as far as like military force or you know, anything that he can enforce what he wants, which is what? The bag. Putin will or has the capability of destroying ideologies, ideas, beliefs, this is when it gets really, it gets more thicker and thicker with from here. So whose ideologies and or beliefs can Putin destroy? Where there are a handful of uh, peoples or sectors out of society, ideas he can destroy. But one of the sectors of society he can destroy are just the general populace ideologies or ideas or beliefs. And an example of the type of belief or ideology Putin will move to destroy in people, just the general populace, is the idea that they are secure in this world, that they are safe. No, fear. He will provoke fear. And provoking fear destroys people's peace of mind. That peace of mind to say, you're okay, you're safe. That's what he does. And so right now, based on the information that I have, I cannot fully answer the question about what Putin is capable of doing. I do know he has a boundary that he won't cross. He has a limit. And that limit is based on his constitution or his spiritual form, essence. But it seems to me that he is a crybaby. And we know people that are impulsive crybabies are prone to do things that they regret later. That's me just imposing my viewpoints. Also, I'm going to just say this here because this is what I'm trying not to say, but I'm going to say it. What I picked up in my interpretation of Putin's chart is that, like I gave the example of Putin and his soul tribe as like a gang or a mafia group around a round table. What I realized is that the powers, with a focus on Putin and his people, they throw the populace, the general populace, under the bus. So what Putin will do in order to back down who's ever threatening him and his soul tribe's physical world of security and stability is he will do something to the people, the general populace, to get the other power to back down. So, first move, keeping with our real current events, go ahead and start progressing war. That destroys the common lay person's sense of peace. You know, their whole idea of peace, safety, and security. Their own physical worldly wants, needs, urges, and desires. Now, he's not doing it directly to, like, he's not getting out in the middle of the street, fighting directly with the person that he's upset with, like the Ukrainian leaders or the U.S. leaders. No. He's called upon his law enforcement or military to push some buttons. You know, I talk about pushing buttons and bombs and things going off overhead of the head of these people. So we're talking about Putin taking his people, commanding that they antagonize and what's another word? Is antagonize a whole nother country of people. That's what he does. That's the throwing the temper tantrum. But it's never a direct confrontation with whom is the real threat. You know what I'm saying? So basically throwing the people under the bus. And what I found in my research after reading this Putin's chart is that I realized that that is the case relative to every nation's leader. They never go do their own business. They always enact war that sends the common Jane or Joes that's enlisted in, military law enforcement to go into action and fight amongst each other for what's they want. Now, mind you, when I'm talking about Putin, we're talking about him being a part of a soul tribe or family that all they're interested in is in their own wealth and security and power for generations. That's what it's all about. And so what is happening on our world scene, the global scale, is with all that Ukraine stuff, is to make sure that his family, him and Soul Tribe, are secure. Am I making that make sense? You know? So those people over in Ukraine, I guess, I don't know exactly what's going on, that's hearing bombs and different things whistle over them and them feeling fear and dread and their id is being wounded, things we've talked about, is all so he could back his opposition down, or the other gangster family or the other mafia family, whether it's the United States or China or whomever, back them down in a way so that they can continue to live their best life and have the level of value in their life that they deem fit. The satisfaction of their entitlement is what all of this is saying, which is so interesting to me. And it goes even deeper again with additional clues that I end up deciphering. So he will strike the people. He will strike the people. He has a rageful temper, and will have a rageful temper tantrum. And that one thing that concerns me about this type of, I guess it can be called, labeled or categorized as like a more of a feminine rage. It's because he's emotionally fueled and is, keeping with science and psychology. A woman's rage or fury is not logical, so he could again do something that he may later possibly regret, that kind of thing. And historically, there has been this connotation associated with not having women leaders over a country because they may get upset, cry, emotional, be ministrating, and push the button, that button, yes. And so it's that kind of emotional response Putin has on behalf of himself and those people that are part of his soul tribe, just because they want to secure their bag and secure it for generations and have it grow. That's what that's about. I'm trying, y'all, to describe it. Okay, still a long one. I move on, and it talks about in this sector, it talks about the work duties. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, right here. Really talks about the work duties that Putin is responsible for. He has these work duties, and what are these work duties associated with? Securing a bag. And by whatever means he deems fit. This next area in which the magnifying glass hovers over talks about how Putin interacts in social contracts, basically. I'm just going to try to read it and then come back and clarify. Evidence, accounts, accountability, nitpicky, obsessive, focus on interests, concerns, putting things, facts in order. Will not let you forget. He's eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth mentality. He illuminates and destroys. So, what my notes referring to relative to Putin and his interaction in social exchanges and contracts with the others? Well, first and foremost, it depends on who's he in the contract with. I'm not talking per se at this point in time about his social interactions or exchanges with those within his intimate soul tribe. We're talking about on a global scale. Putin's interaction with United States leadership. How does he deal with that? Or Putin's social exchange with Ukraine and their leaders. How does he deal in that, and so on and so on. Well, based on the astrological alignments in his chart, birth chart, it states that Putin is one that really like keeps track of every single thing. It's a tit for a tat. If he does something for you, he's going to point it out. He wants it back. He's nitpicky. I mean, like very, very particular. And this kind of energy seems like one that will tell some things about the other party that they are in that social exchange with if the negotiations don't work out in his favor. Like, I know your secrets. Either you're going to do what I say do, or I'm going to let the cat out the bag. It's like that. It is, again, keeping fine, intricate account of every little detail to use it to his benefit. Okay? I mean, use it to destroy. So you understand somebody that possesses information that's so vital or so critical and keeping a lid on it. I mean, it has to go to an extreme level before they let it out because that's his power. You know, so all negotiations are tried, all means and methods are tried until he has no choice. Because his goal is to do what? Secure the bag. Okay. And this very last space that I'm moving a magnifying glass over, that I'm covering, talks about partnership. Let me see. It talks about consciousness within a particular partnership, the agendas and potential outcomes associated with any partnership exchange. Let's see. The agenda, potentials, and outcomes associated with the intellect and area expertise of members and parties involved. What am I saying right there? I'm saying that, remember, Putin is one party. Putin is a part of one party. Remember, it's Putin and all the people in his soul tribe. Well, that's one party interacting with other countries or nations. And the other party could be the United States. And whomever the leaders are in the United States, that's another party. And then it's another party with the Ukraine and their leaders. And so what this astrological energy is saying, hey, the potential to what can be accomplished because they are interacting with each other depends on each member. Well, number one, it depends on the shared goal. What are y'all after? Who's bringing what to the table? You know, and it just points that out because remember, I tried to discard the people at the round table with them, and I can't because that's where it starts. His social interaction and exchange with them. And everybody, remember, has their roles to play. They're playing all their roles for a common goal of securing the bag for all of themselves. But then this also plays out on a global scale in which Putin is a representative for that group of people or beings. And so it basically, I'm trying to sum it up. It talks about the potential accomplishments or achievements or happenings that can occur. And those potentials depends on who's participating with who. Every social scenario or various social scenario brings about different outcomes, bring about different challenges, etc., etc. And so that's what it talks about. And why is that important? Because it is in relationship to how Putin deals with people, you know. So it's saying when Putin comes to the table, this birth chart talked about how he deal with it. An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and I got secrets and stuff on you, and you know, those kind of things. And so he brings that to the table when dealing in his intimate social circle, but he also brings it to the table when he's dealing on the world at the on the world stage. And so imagine him interacting with the United States or Ukraine or whatever. He still brings that mentality uh, to the table. And then how does, let me give you an example. When he brings that mentality to the table in relationship to, like, I don't know, the Ukrainian leader, how does the Ukrainian leader respond to that? You know, uh, how does the Ukrainian leader respond to that? Depending on how the Ukrainian leader responds to that, determines what happens. You know, so an example of how this could be. This is a hypothetical because I don't know. I ain't got no official paperwork. Um, Putin could say, "Hey, you can't go into an alliance with that other nation or that other country because that means they gonna come to your land and visit more frequently, and they're gonna be too close to me, and it's too close for my comfort." You know what I'm saying? They might try to seize control of my territory or something like that. So you, Ukrainian leader, you ain't gonna do it. If you do, we gonna F you up to make sure you don't invite that other person over to your land because they too close for comfort. And the Ukrainian leader, and when Putin does that, he might say, "Remember this, Ukraine? Remember we helped you with that? Remember this, or remember this treaty, or whatever the case may be." And Ukraine, how would the Ukrainian leader respond to that? Saying, "Oh, that was old, or that's outdated, or we do what we want to do." You know, well, all of those dynamics determines what ends up happening, and that's in every scenario. And so his birth chart points that out as well. And anything else? So in short, what have we learned about Putin? That he was born basically a social and political uh, um, elitist or aristocrat, and has a sense of entitlement. That he's moving to secure the bag for himself and those under his care. He was assigned the station of president, and he's really the president over just that intimate social group. Um, but with his real life presidency, he got all these millions of people behind him in Russia, depending on him, not his interests. They are just pawns in the game. You hear that all the time. They're just pawns in the game. And so, right now, he is, based on his birth chart, he has tried. What I'm going to also say is that whatever is occurring didn't just happen recently. Something has occurred last year or the year before. Um, and now, they've tried to go through negotiations and things like that, and I believe that Putin didn't get his way, and whatever the other uh, regions or and leaders want to do in some way is threatening Putin and his tribe. And so Putin is compelled from the inner emotional depth of his soul and who he is to move and push back, to push back um, that threat, because if he feels if whatever occurs that he and his tribe don't agree with, it is going to keep them from living their best life, is what it's saying. It's saying that basically Putin will move to destroy ideologies and beliefs. And I can see that playing out on the world stage by revealing secrets about, different countries that he knows, um, as well as, destroying, again, the general populace um, in other regions, peace of mind and security based on this birth chart. And that's basically what I see. I didn't see anything so remarkable about Putin, whatever his name is, chart. I didn't see anything so remarkable at all. Uh, but in conjunction with what I'll be sharing in the next two videos, it becomes more remarkable. It becomes a lot more remarkable. So anywho, thank you for coming here to Can Angels Fly Tarot and allowing me to share my astrological interpretation of Putin's birth chart. Until next time. And remember, if you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. Until then, or until next time, bye.